which books did I read during my 10th grade and further on, because of which I got 97% in my 10th board exams and also repeatedly high scoring grades in the future exams. Well, today I'll answer that because I get that question a lot. People ask me that you must have read some philosophical works or some real important fiction books like maybe War and Peace or something, because of which you got really intelligent or something. But to be honest, the answer is no. Like people think that you have to read some random books like War and Peace or On to Kill a Mockingbird or something so that you can actually be more intelligent or do some more work. But the answer is you do not need to read any of those books. Of course, hear me out first. I'm not saying those books are good or bad. My point is you should only read the books which you genuinely enjoy. The answer is not some one random book that if you read, then suddenly you'll gain all the knowledge, or suddenly you'll have a lot of interest in reading. The answer is which type of book do you like? Now, first of all, let's talk about reading after studying. If you study for the whole day, then at night, I recommend, and generally everyone says that you should read a particular book, be it fiction or non fiction, that does not matter, so that your mind first keeps a habit of reading and so that it just does not forget to read external material outside of the syllabus. Second, if you read just before bed, then it stops you from scrolling or watching some random videos or playing games or whatever on your phone, which is of course productive. Third, if you learn something new out of reading those books, then what's the harm? Right? Now, the point of reading these books is not to make yourself more intelligent or to expose yourself to new information. The point is just to make it enjoyable enough so that you actually start reading more material and you start loving reading itself. Because if you start liking reading, then in terms of your normal studying, you will again like to read more and more, because of which, of course, your studying productivity will improve. Because then you will not hate reading and then just read for the sake of studying. But if you genuinely like reading, then you will also read for the study materials. You're getting a point. So the goal here is not to make yourself more intelligent or to equip yourself with some random information or philosophy which will help you. But the goal here is to make yourself more interested in reading. Now, here, I will give you the final answer to which books should you actually read. The answer is you should read the books which you like. Now you might think that what obviously that's the answer, but hear me out. Many people say that you should read philosophical books or David Goggins books or some random 19th century books so that you can suddenly get more intelligent. But the answer is no. Right now, just leave all of them and just ask yourself which type of books do you actually like. Now, if you're not a complete retard and you have read at least one or two books, then you will kind of have a taste, or at least from the movies that you have watched or the games that you have played, you would know which type of genre do you like. Do you like romance, or do you like horror, or do you like fiction, or which type of genre do you actually like? For me, let's say the answer is romance and comedy basically. So of course, if I try to read some book about adventures, then maybe I would not like it that much. But if I read a book genuinely about romance itself, like It Ends With Us or Temporary Roomie and all, then of course I will like them, right? Now, first, you have chosen the genre. Let's say you like a genre like horror or adventure. Then choose a book which you genuinely like, or at least which has a plot which genuinely intrigues you. Let's say you like horror, so some random Stephen King book, maybe that intrigues you. Just choose the book then. And then either download the PDF or have a physical copy and start reading it at the night. Now you might think that what will actually happen if I read a random romance book after studying. But to be honest, as I told you, the impact is huge because then you will develop a reading habit which will of course help you a lot. Now, for me personally, as I said, my answer is romance. I like romance books and comedy books. And then, in those times, I had a lot of interest in anime and manga and all. And that's why, for me, the answer was light novels. And that also light-hearted, slice of life, romance light novels. Now, the three books which I read. First, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. Now, of course, the name is kinda sus, but the book is actually genuinely very wholesome, and that's why I really like it. Second, the book Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai. Now again, the name is kind of sus, but if you ask a person who has either seen the series or read the book, then they will say that it is genuinely really good. And third, Temporary Roomie. Now people say that they did not like it that much, but to be honest, it's one of my favorites in terms of romance because I really liked it because of the comedy and all that. Now, I read these three books. Now imagine you ask some topper guy or some guy who got 95 or 98% or something, and they say that, hey, I read Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai. Of course, from the first thought that you will have, you will think that it is weird, or maybe even that they're lying. But to be honest, the answer is that that's the truth. Because right now you do not need to focus on actually making yourself more disciplined or learning philosophy that you will not even remember 2 days later. Right now, you need to focus on books which you genuinely enjoy. If you do not enjoy philosophy or non-fiction or biographies, then there is no need to read them. You will not suddenly get more intelligent just because you have read those philosophy books. But another thing here is that if you genuinely like books like that, for example, you like books of David Goggins, or if you like philosophy books for real, then of course you should read them. I'm not against philosophy as a genre. I'm just saying that people think that they should read this type of genre so that they can suddenly get more intelligent. But that's not true, of course. See, which type of book do you like? Ask yourself. And based on the answer, read the books. Maybe you genuinely like philosophy. Of course, I don't have a problem with that. You just go and start reading it. Now, normally people just think that, oh, what are other people saying about this genre? People say that you should not read fiction because it is fake and there is nothing real in there. People say that you should not read non-fiction because then you will not get real lessons and it is much less imaginative. But who cares, to be honest? Just think about it. Who cares if some random guy thinks that fiction is good or if some other guy thinks that romance is for girls? You should just ignore them or just do not even think about them and just ask yourself. It's like for most decisions in your life, you should not think about what other people think, but rather what you genuinely like. If you like fiction and if you like romance, or if you like non-fiction and if you like philosophy, then there's no problem in that. Just start reading that. Who cares if some random guy says that romance is for girls, or if some other guy says that philosophy is boring? You should not care about that. Just shut the fuck up and start reading the book which you genuinely like. And if you start reading that book, then slowly you will realize that you have literally become addicted to reading books and you would not be able to sleep without reading at least 1 or 2 pages of the book that you like. And that's the stage that I want you to reach on. Now, if you want more advice from me, like how do you actually study or how did I make notes and whatever, so that I got 97%, but I did not really make notes, I used this one secret technique which really helped me. If you want to know all that, then I highly recommend you to join my program. It's literally $5. Like, how much is $5? And it will really help you. So, I'll see you there. Till then, you can watch my other videos. I'll see you later. Till then, work like a dog, live like a lion.